Okay, so we're going to just create that dialog for doing the other one. And we need to come up with a name. Saver, I'm going to call it. To think of anything better. If you've got a better name when you come and do your stuff, do that. And this is a save file dialog. So you'll see as you start typing save and you get to F, save file dialog will come up. So make sure you use new. And they'll come up in that like light blue colour. I don't know what colour that's supposed to be, teal or something like that, is it? Don't know. So it'll come up in that funny colour to say it's a special thing that's been created by somebody else, an object. Right, now we've got that. Down here on that if that's just under the horrible blue squiggle, we can say saver, and it's the same format, and we just say show dialog. So that opens it. When it closes, we'll test that they actually pick something to save. I'll try and get out of everyone's way with my head because it's really annoying. My head is anyway. Right, so we're just going to say equals, and it'll give us the same list, all these dialog results. So we're just going to click OK again. And then we're going to put then at the end. And it'll do that. Okay, because it's been clever and it's put an end if in for me. So currently, I've got, and it looks a bit odd, but we're saying, right, if they clicked OK on the open file dialog, let's ask them to select a file with the save dialog. If they clicked on OK with that, let's carry on with the program. So all this code we had before, here, I want that, this whole block, to actually be where the cursor's flashing now. So I'm just going to move it. So I'm going to cut it and paste. So I'm just going to highlight those lines, cut them using Control X. That's the quick way. Control X. And then I'm going to put my cursor there. And I'm just going to go paste. I've got loads of horrible blank lines at the bottom. So I'm going to just take some of those out. Just tidy it up a little bit. Just delete a few lines. Right. Tidies it up a little bit. Okay. Right, we can test that this works. We haven't done anything with it yet, but we can test it works. So I'm just going to, is everyone happy with that, yeah? Right, let's just run it, F5 it. So when I click my button, I get the open file dialog. Notice it says open here. So I'm just going to select anything, doesn't matter. It'll then automatically use the save dialog. And it says, look, save as. Doesn't look much different to the open one.
It's the argument exception was unhandled. Is that something I've done wrong in the page?
You've put it in the wrong place. All that went in here. Everyone else alright? Yeah. Right. Okay, so it works, and it'll probably do the same task that it did before because we haven't. I've got to pick a file, so it won't let me click save until so I can make a name up, blah blah blah, bang, and it just works as before. Okay, hopefully that's saying the right number of words now when we corrected that. Yay, words 11. It looks right. Okay, so let's kill our program. So that's gonna provide us with a file name to save our file to. A valid file name, and that's the important bit. Okay? It's no good having a file name that is going to cause the program to crash. Opening and closing files is one of the massive problems we have with programming, because you don't know, when you write your code, where someone's going to specify files, or whether they've got even permission. if you look on the student shared, there is a load of files that has been set up on a network drive, but you haven't got permission to save. So if you selected that location to save, this will break our program. So files are a pain in the neck, and you have to write loads of horrible extra code that's got nothing to do with what you're trying to do, just to stop things crashing. Okay, so anything we can do to help us a little bit, like this, is good. Now, our open and read, we specified and we gave it as a parameter the file name we want to open. We need to change that because we now need to give it the file we want to save. Okay, so I'm gonna show you something that's quite nice. If you right click over where it says open and read, there's an option there that says go to definition. Just click on that and that'll take you to the code that we created before. Okay, so you don't have to find it, it's helping us. So we're going to add a new parameter. So we're going to edit this. So at the minute we're just asking for a file name. So I'm going to put comma so that I add another option. I'm going to say new file name. I'm going to call it, and I'll put as string. I'm in your way again. The board needs to be higher, that's the problem. We need the board higher.
It's this computer.
Is it this monitor? Oh, it's not just me, it's my monitor.
No.
Oh, can't I have two monitors like you?
I don't use this one.
You don't even use a second monitor? When you're reviewing the videos, it's handy.
Yeah.
Right, okay, so we've added another parameter so we can give it two pieces of information. What we will find is if we go back to form 1 quickly, it's now moaning at us and saying, that's wrong. Yeah, because we've only given it one file name. So we're going to give it the file name that we've picked to save. So we're going to say comma, and we called it saver, and it is again just file name. So you should end up with open and read, and then we're just giving it two pieces of information. Okay? What we're trying to create a bit of code that can be used with any files, as long as it's told what files to use. Okay? By having these parameters. Okay, so we're nearly done now, so that's doing the hard messy bit. Let's go back to our open and read subroutine. We've got two things to do. We've got to now create a file, a new file. So we used a stream reader to open a file. We're going to use a similar thing. So on the next line down from that, just make a blank line. I'm going to create a stream writer so that they can write to a file. And I'm going to be lazy again, and I'm going to say W as new stream writer. And we're going to give it the file name. So that was new file name. Get it right out balance again, that zoom. Okay, so we're opening a file with this value, and we're opening another file that we're going to write to with this. And what we must always do, if we go to the bottom of our subroutine, where we add the close line, not the one that you hang your stuff on, close line for the reader, we need to do the same for the writer so that the file gets closed properly. So we just put w.close. Okay, so we've made sure we've opened the file and we've closed the file. All we've got to do now, just as a test, when you come and do your exam assignment, you've obviously got to work out what you need to write out. But as a test, I am just going to display the current line, and I'm just going to put a little bit of text that says, up to this point there were so many words, or something like that I'm going to put. Okay? Right, so I'm going to put out what line number we're on. So that was the reading line. To write, we just say w.write line. So we're going to write an entire line out, and we tell it what we want to write to the file. Okay? So we just say, alright, I'm going to put line count. So I'm going to display that. and join to that. So you'll notice this from before, this is string concatenation again. So I'm going to put a space, if I can find my other double quote, and then I'm going to print out the current line. So I've read in the current line, so I'm now going to write it out to a new file. And I think I'll just leave it as that. That's all I want to print. So I'm putting line numbers on. Okay, so let's just look at this loop. So we've got this while loop that's saying keep reading until you get to the end of the file that you've been reading in. So we read a line in and store it temporarily. And remember, that was a local variable we created, because it's there. Okay, so we read that in. Then what we're saying is, ooh, our new file, let's put the line out, put a space, and then display the text, that whatever was on that line. And then we keep doing that until we've exhausted all the lines, and then we close, and we finish. Right, let's run it and see if it crashes. Right, so I'm going to use my homework one. I need right, each run. Okay, fair enough. I need to now find that file to verify that that worked. So I'm going to close my program. I do not know where I saved that because I wasn't watching. It's probably in here somewhere. I called it test. God. I've got so much rubbish in there. I know I can't remember where I saved it. Because I wasn't looking at the screen properly. Right, I'll run it again so I know where I'm doing it this time. Oh, it might be in... Right, I can see where it is now. I see. It's in there, and it was called text. Now, I didn't put .text. Look what Windows does. It goes, it's a file. It doesn't know what type of file it is because I didn't put .text on the end. Okay? But I can tell it if I right click to open it with Notepad, if I do Shift. So if I do Shift, why is it doing that? There you go, Notepad. Whoa, and it's gone. It's gone and printed line numbers starting at 0 because we had current line set to 0. And the text is there. What might be nicer is that what we ought to do is load up the file we've just created into that rich text edit. So that's the last thing we'll do. Okay, just to finish it off. So it worked. So I'm going to stop my program running. And I'm just going to alter some stuff here. So I'm back in my button click. Just zoom that out a little bit. Right, let's just quickly look at this button click code again. So we've got open file dialog, save file dialog. Then we load up the file that we said we want to load. Now I'm going to change this. I'm going to move this line to here after we've processed and created our new file, and I'm going to get it to open automatically the new file we've created so we can check. Alright, so I'm just going to take that line. What I've done there is a quick short form for you. I clicked on this line and I pressed home until I went to the left hand edge. Alright, and then if I hold down Shift and do the down cursor, it selects the whole line. Okay, if I now cut that, I'm going to move, after I've done the processing, I'm going to move this here. And I'm going to change the file name it loads to the one we've just saved. So that is going to be saver.filename. But I've had to do it in that order. So when you're describing sequence for this, we're saying, right, ask them what files to open and create, process the files, then we can load the file that we've created. If we try and do it in a different order, it won't work. I'm going to trip over my shoelace in a minute. If you've got that done, just run it and see if it works. It should load the file up for you when you've finished your processing. So you should get the thing with the line numbers in there. Oh, did it work? Make sure you've changed the file that you're telling the rich text box to load to the saver one. The one that we selected. Is it working? Just making aim at what you want to say. Right, so you need to change that to your so we're going to load up the ones we've just read. Right, open it. So you get it. Yeah. You can just click on that and then override it. Okay, everyone got that to work? No. No? Right, let me just run mine and show you what it will do, and then I'll come and fix them all. Otherwise we're going to have a load of people getting problems fixed on the vid. This is a bit mad, but there you go. Right, so, but, test, and there you go. So it's loaded it up into the rich text box. That's what you should have got happen. Notice it starts at 0. Okay? As an exercise, see if you can fix that so that you get the proper line number. So line 1 is line 1, not line 0. Okay, I'll stop the vid there and I'll come around and help.